Hi everybody, Thoman Mehta here, and thank you for once again joining me on my journey as I go through my favorites list on fanfiction.net. For those who don't know, again, I've sorted my favorites list on fanfiction.net by publication date, rereading my stories from oldest to newest, seeing if they still deserve to stay on my list, and I'm still, even though I've been doing this for over a year now, I'm still a decade behind, so let's get into this with a couple more stories, starting with Something Wicked This Way Comes by the Mad Reviewer. And this is a Harry Potter crossover with Disgaea, but the twist being this is actually a serious story. Disgaea is known for being over-the-top ridiculousness with a lot of fourth wall breaking and meta jokes and stuff. And while there is some fourth wall breaking and some jokiness here, this is mainly a serious story where he just, summons help to deal with Voldemort. This happens during Order of the Phoenix and goes on. And what's interesting is that, once again, the novelty of Disgaea being serious, at least in my experience, is interesting. But also just the emotional hits of this story actually sneak up on you. For the majority of the early part, I was just like, oh, okay, this seems like it'll be a decent enough story, but nothing big. And then it just started building up emotional connections and emotional scenes that kind of surprised me, and they actually hit and resonated well. What's also interesting is, it does alternate takes for Horcruxes, so we have certain different ones which are pretty, little not, darker than the usual stuff. Edna's really fun. She's really the main character of this, even though Harry is the protagonist and everything, but it honestly focuses more on Edna than anybody else. We also get, a collage of other people. There's not really any bashing that's there, so this is a really interesting story. And if you like Edna at all in Disgaea, you should really check this story out. But I did enjoy this a lot, and it's gonna stay on my list. Next is New Frontiers by abbodon X, and this is a story where Naruto ends up in the Pokegirl dimension. What are Pokegirls, you ask, because you have spent your life way better than I have. Pokegirls are basically women who turn into Pokemon hybrids during puberty, and then they have to have sex with men, otherwise they go insane. So there you go. And what is this story actually like? The story is he ends up there by accident and stuff, and then it's just I gotta find my way home, so I'm just gonna travel around, collect Pokegirls, and look for ways to get home and stuff. Fine. Basically, there's three things. It's sex scenes, fight scenes, and Pokédex entries, which are that is basically 75% of this story. And if that's what you want, fine, you'll be served, because that's what Pokegirl fics are usually meant for. On the other hand, I like, interesting beats and stuff like that. Granted, there is some relationship drama between Naruto and the Pokegirls, but it's the fact that it starts from such a one-sided relationship that's already going basically perfect. There's not much room for growth. And honestly, there's no urgency to this again, because it's accidental travel, and he's I don't know what's going on, so I'll just keep looking around finding stuff, and it doesn't really seem to have any. It's just a travel log fic, and so I'm sure those can be done well, but I found myself less and less enjoying those if they don't have more of an emotional connection for me. So if you just want what Pokegirl fics are there for, which is sex and fighting, you're fine here, but me, it's gonna fall off my list. Now more Harry Potter with Delenda by Lord Silvere. Now, this is a Harry Potter, this is another time travel fic, but there's actually some interesting shit in it. The first being that it actually goes through 2 time periods, which is interesting enough. And the other being that when he first goes back in time, he actually makes an alliance with a couple people that you don't normally see in a normal or like light Harry fic, and it actually makes some pureblood lords sympathetic and even likable. Romulus Malfoy and Orion and Cygnus Black all become like characters you like, not for just enjoyable, and like their camaraderie with Harry becomes really interesting. Bellatrix is really fun in this. She's it's again a 2-man show between her and Harry. If you like Bellatrix and you want to see her in a non-crazy role and stuff, this is great. It's really fun. There's a few scenes that are like a little too plot convenient, and it's just like, why would you do this? But the narrative, it hits in a narrative way really well. So like, I didn't mind it, even though, and there's only like a couple of those in the whole thing. And also, what's interesting is, again, like, while there are a couple like huge battles and stuff, a lot of this is about like spying and like more low key operations, which is also different from most time travel fics, which are just like, okay, I'm time traveling, then let's go. There's the big obligatory battle in Diagon Alley. There's the big obligatory battle at Hogwarts, and then the day is saved somehow. Like, it's fun to see them actually have to work to stop the thing instead of just being like, okay, here's a battle, I'm calling you out, let's deal with this. Aside from that, like, I don't want to say why, like, the two time period zones is really fun. I'll give you a hint. It kind of does a Sarah Connor Chronicles thing in the end, even though Sarah Connor Chronicles didn't actually continue and show what could happen, but it has that kind of a time jump. And like I said, if you like Bellatrix at all, this is a really good story. I really enjoy this fic, and it's gonna stay on my list. Next is more dogbertcarroll with the second story of New Lamps for Old, Reaping What You've Sown. And this one is, so last time was his mixed protagonist fics was Naruto's mind and soul in Ranma's body. This is Ichigo from Bleach, his soul in Naruto's body, just at the start of canon, which is like after he passes the Genin exam. And again, it's like really fun, like seeing the different powers that he has in comparison to everybody else, and his no bullshit taking attitude in regards to his team and everything. It's really fun, adds a little dynamic, and also just his change seems to affect a whole lot of other people into changing the rest of the rookie nines things. It's pretty fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It's again a lot of comedy and a small amount of text. It's gonna stay on my list. Now we ship over to Persona 4 with Persona 4 Split Personalities by Kizodata the Freak Gamer. And this is a retelling of the original story of the game, with the exception that the personas follow them around in the real world as well as like stands, and just keep talking to them with their own like personalities and stuff. So in the beginning, especially the writer just keeps jumping past a lot of the stuff just to get to the main story beats, and just like skips over everything else. And okay, that's fine. It gets the personas themselves do quickly get past, like, it takes a while, but they start off very like one note, and like, oh, this guy's the perverted one, this girl is the serious bitch, this girl is the shy girl, and whatever, and eventually they grow into actual like people. But I just never really got sucked into this. There's small omakes at the end that are kind of funny, but again, they're not really, they're more like alternate scenes or deleted scenes of a movie, so huge, wild, ridiculous things. More like just slight differences, or if a character improv during a scene differently. And there's other bits that are fun where like all these, the personas are acting as if like they have the memories of who they actually were, which are usually millennia old like heroes and stuff. So having them be surprised and deal with like new technology and stuff that's also like a running joke. It is complete, so if you want to try it out and see it, you won't be caught up on a cliffhanger and you'll see it. I just didn't get into it. It's nothing bad, just nothing for me to really sink my teeth into, so it's gonna fall off my list. Next is another short Naruto fic called Gaara the Messiah by Sarah1281. It's a really short one-shot joke about how Kankuro handles the public announcement of Gaara's return to life. Like he's like, you basically were either being a messiah or a zombie, and then just explaining his logic of how that came to be. It's fine, nothing's amazing, but you really don't need to read this more than once, so give it a look if you really want to, but you can safely skip this, and it's going to fall off my list. And the final video, and the final fic for this video is Poison Pen by Genkai Fan. And this is basically a fic where Harry becomes a reporter, and not a investigative reporter, but an op-ed reporter writing his own opinion articles. And while it's relabeled as humor, it's honestly, I didn't find it that funny. I feel like this is more just a dramatic, like this is more a takedown of the Wizarding world by just the author listing grievance after grievance after grievance in an article format, while in the background a Harry uses goblin rituals to destroy Voldemort fic happens. And honestly, again, like I feel like that is even just there so that we can just deal with Voldemort without like worrying about him later on. And the main story is really Harry's articles plus everybody's reactions to those articles. That's the more important part, and I think that's pretty good. I of course I'm biased because I agree that the Wizarding world has a lot of problems, and I agree with a lot of what the author says, but I find it interesting in a way that like he points them all out, and then because the author is kept anonymous of the articles, we see the Wizarding world start to essentially, in ways, eat itself. If you like, just stories about pointing the Wizarding world getting its flaws pointed out, you'll enjoy this a lot. I think it was done in an interesting way, and it's going to stay on my list. And there we go. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you, if you want to read any of these stories, if they interest you, or if you just want to see them for yourself, links and URLs are in the description down below. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment if you think I'm an idiot or anything, and subscribe if you want to keep getting notified when I post my next step in this journey. And thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.